All right, hey everybody. We're getting ready for our last live look in of the day, and we're getting ready to drop in on the USC War Room and Coach Brad Keller. And I know Coach is just finishing up a recruiting call, and so we told him we'd kill some time for him as he finishes up with that. And I'm not even sure those guys were in the office yet before some of the activity was happening today, but crazy day for sure. And a lot of activity, especially in the last couple hours, and several players deciding to verbal here on day one, led by our number one setter in the class and Genevieve Harris, and expecting the number one outside hitter in the class, Henley Anderson, to do the same, just based on Coach Elliott's tease tweet earlier in the day with the double boom boom. Assuming that's what that means. And another one of Harris's teammates at Austin Skyline, and Crystal Wilburn, just announced her verbal to SMU, and a program that we talked about on the show last night, having some smoke and being on the verge of having a big recruiting season, and as well. So a lot today, a lot in the process. I know there's got quite a bit that's going to be announced tomorrow as well. And again, one of the things kind of to remember for everybody that's tuning in as we wait for Coach Keller to jump in, and actually kind of impressed with how smoothly this has gone today, considering the coaches and their schedules and how accommodating they've been with how crazy this day is and how important this day is for them. We thought we might run into some scheduling difficulties, and I know the Auburn staff was excited to meet them, and I've met them, but to see their facilities and talk with them, but they were absolutely swamped today, which is a good thing for them, and kind of what we saw at camp too. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I know I heard from some people that via one of the world-renowned chat rooms that it was going around that I am promoting kids committing on day one. And first of all, that just shows how stupid those chat rooms are. But two, if you know me at all, you know that's not the case. And a big reason I would like the student athletes to take their visits is just simply because official visits are awesome. You get treated great, the meals, the treatment, the hospitality. That's one of the coolest parts of recruiting. And so it's not so much that you're not going to commit there or you're not going to go to the school of your choice, but the other sports, major sports, really get that, right? And volleyball athletes miss out on that. They miss out on those extra. They miss out on those extra visits, no matter where you plan to go, right? If you look at the other major sports with football and basketball, I can't speak on baseball, but football and basketball, with them taking 3 and 4 visits, a lot of them know where they're going to commit, but they get to experience something. They get to be treated very, very well at multiple campuses, right? And I just think you all have earned it. For any athletes tuning in out there, you guys have earned it. And so that's one reason I know Coach Jamie Morrison talked about it last night, but Coach Jamie talked about it last night. He'd like to see the timeline, and that's nothing against any school. That's for you athletes and the betterment of your experience. If you have that, you're going to your dream school, and I heard from somebody today that got offered by their dream school, and it's an academic situation that crazy. I don't agree with this either, but they can't announce for like 18 months or something. But, that was their academic dream school. And I get that. But man, to be able to take 3 or 4 official visits and see other parts of the country on the school's dime, right? And have the meal and the tour and get the gear and the pictures and hang out with the team members and go to a game or a football Saturday or whatever. I just wish volleyball recruits would get to experience that. Is if you really want chat boards, if you really want to know where I stand on it, that's where I stand. And I just think you get a truly better sense of where you're going and the true culture if you get on campus. And that's my whole stance. And when, because of the timeline the way it is, it's there. And also, if there's fans and coaches in on this, we're waiting. If you just jumped on, we're waiting for Coach Brad Keller of USC to hop off a recruiting call before he hops on. So I'm killing time. I'm killing time here and just talking about whatever goes through my crazy mind. But if you're thinking about it, I think you get a better sense of everything if you get on campus and get to talk to athletes. And so I also think, as I've talked to other college staffs, they feel a sense of pressure, right? And people that follow the NFL draft and coaches and adults maybe can, relate to this better. But they talk about this in the NFL draft all the time. And that where there's almost like a run, like a panic, and a couple people will commit, and then it's almost like a running back, the first or second running back gets drafted, and then other teams will feel a panic to, oh my goodness, we better take ours now or we're going to miss out. And I think right now with some schools that happens to some degree with college volleyball, right? Somebody takes one, it's a trickle down effect. And right now, right or wrong, earlier in the year, I talked about the big 3, and I talked about that because it's how it happens. And normally right now it starts, I think, with Texas and then Nebraska. And then I think on the academic side, it's kind of Stanford. And then everybody else sees what they took, and then they figure it out, right? And then somebody else is going to take it, and then they start to see, okay, who's left? And then if we need a setter, well, we better act fast, right? And then they panic. And that's what puts the pressure on some of these prospects to commit early, right? It's not me. It's not us. We talked about the process for 2 hours last night. And I know the athletes are hearing about the process from their recruiting coordinators quite a bit. And that's it. And I don't even blame the coaches. I don't think the coaches are doing that on purpose either, but it's their job. If they have to fill a position and there's 3 that they really like and school X ahead of them takes one, now you're down to 2 and you feel a little pressure, and you speed it up. Right. And, hold on. I might have done this wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Coach said, all right, hold on. I got to find Coach, everybody. We're going to give me just 1 second. We'll pause this. Coach says he's on, and he's not on here. So hold on, everybody. We're going to get Coach. There.
see here. All right.
Hey, Coach.
Darren, how are you, man?
I'm great. And the rest of America listening is so glad you popped on. I just did a filibuster for 8 minutes, and they're sick of listening to me. So
Man,
welcome.
Sorry I'm late. It's been a hectic day, as you know.
Well, it's like you're working or something.
I know something. You got to earn a paycheck sooner or later, actually do something right.
Well, you clicked on and we just went up 15 viewers. So welcome.
Oh boy, a whole 15. Let's go.
Well, my nephew and I were shocked last night. We did the selection show last December, or 2 Decembers ago. We had 16 viewers on our YouTube live special. Last night we got to almost 1,200. So we were pretty pumped.
That's awesome. You've been grinding too.
So we are grinding. This is fun, man.
It's great. I think it's just any sort of exposure that we keep getting out there, it just helps, right? I think this game is getting so much fun to watch, and how it's improving and how athletic these players are getting, and you're seeing more and more video on it. There's more access. We got two pro leagues now. It's like there's just a lot there that's kind of exciting,
And I got a text half an hour ago that I was getting my name was getting drugged through the mud on Volley Talk, so I think I've arrived.
Oh man, if they're talking bad about you on Volley Talk, you are officially arrived.
I know. And I'm like,
now I'm proud of you. Now I'm just proud of you. This is great.
Does that ever happen? Have you?
That's why I don't go on there, because you go on there and all of a sudden you just found out that you shot your own dog or something. It's like, what?
I'm like, that's why I got out of coaching like 13 years ago, was because of those chat boards. So I'm not very smart, but.
And I hear it's just getting nasty. It's getting really bad. So it's
somebody told me that thing was actually productive years ago, but the 2 minutes I read back in the fall wasn't very productive. So anyways,
it was productive on the guy side for me, for like recruits on the guy side, but I stay away from that thing on the women's side. Too much for me.
Let's talk about recruiting a little bit. Okay. And first of all, we'll dive into your guys' day, but I know you guys can't talk yet about that crew, but you guys have crushed it. And we had one of your crew. I mean, Amy Pauley was on our show last night.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's awesome. What a unbelievable person and unbelievable personality.
Well, I loved it, and I can see why she was great. I mean, she saved our show last night with actually having, and I loved it because she's a straight shooter. She was honest. She, it wasn't the normal, like I say, interview 101 speech where I have to say exactly right what.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right,
the university speech. It was real. It was educational. She talked from experience, but she also gave athletes perspective, and she gave me a little bit, which I like, and she told me that my rankings were full of junk. And she said, I recruited those girls and they should be higher. I know you can't talk about that yet, but I said, hey, go look at her other ones. You guys are higher. She goes, I know. But you guys have done a great job bringing in some big-time talent. Going into the Big Ten, first of all, does anything change before we talk about today? Does anything change with going to the Big Ten in that conference, or are you always just trying to recruit the best possible athletes you can?
It doesn't matter. We are. If we want to compete for national championships, we got to go get the best talent, and we got to get the best talent that want to be a part of this program and this university and what this is all about, this culture. And then you also got to not just get the best players, but it's like a puzzle piece a little bit. You got to find the right puzzle pieces to fit together to create kind of this really cool style of play that you want or train, or what it looks like, and then how you act and so forth and so on.
What about today? Because I didn't think about it, but the time differential with recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys probably like it because you probably get some early nights because you can't call East Coast kids at midnight.
Yep.
So maybe get out.
Well, you can. I don't think it's cool, but you can. Right. You know, but I mean, I started at 5 a.m. So what we do is I can talk about this is I don't do the midnight thing, and I'm not against it. It's just not what I do. So 8 a.m. to me is a respectful time where kids are getting up, or it's, you know, kind of early enough and they can start planning their day, because they're probably getting inundated with 40 or 50, 60, you know, you name it, type of connection or people trying to reach them. So usually a text message. So for the East Coast, 8 a.m., it's 5 a.m. my time, and just keep going, you know, back along that timeline. So, and then from there, we just kind of start figuring out when people want to meet, and it doesn't have to be today. Like, we're in no hurry. Like we're not doing 90 Zooms or whatever today. We're picking and choosing and making sure that we're spending the quality time with that kid or that family to see if this is starting to go down the right road for us and for them.
Yeah, and I'm learning today. I mean, people don't realize, I'm promoting the sport, and I guess we're doing some good things, but a lot of it's me having questions, right? Like, I'm a recruiting fan, and I'm learning the sport of volleyball, and I used to recruit football years ago, and so I compare what y'all are doing to what I did years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And I love the gamesmanship of all of it, and I love the, like, Dan Meske. This today all occurred because about a month ago, he talked about updating their big board.
Yep.
Right. And I remember, and I'm like, you guys got a big board? And like, as a dork, when we started doing South Dakota volleyball years ago, I was like, we had a big board with South Dakota volleyball. Right.
You mean like that right there? Big board?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Right now. On it? Yeah. Big board.
Yeah. Yep. Was there anything on the big board?
It's closed off, so you and the public can't see it. It's great.
Wow. See, that's the next step. I want to get access. I got to get access to a big board. But
okay, come out here and hang out with us, and I'll let you take a peek.
Hey, if you got any kind of a big board in January, I might be there for like 6 weeks, hanging out. But yeah, like those things. So when you guys do it, is on day one, I know it's great to hear from the head coach, but are your assistants, are your staff, are they helping to reach out that first time, or is it just all you? And I've asked like that first time, are you guys casting a wide net? Are you, is it, and I don't want to put a number, I don't want names, but is it 10 that only you call right away? How do you do it day one?
Well, it's changed. I would say we did a wide net my first couple of years here, because we were trying to get as much talent as we could in the doors to kind of rising tide lifts all boats, like kind of get this thing going.
Yeah.
This year, it's I really do like our 24 and 25 recruiting classes, and so this is more about complementing those two groups and making sure that this group has their own identity and their own, that they are needed and wanted and they fit. They're not just stock. I'm just not stockpiling. So it's a little bit of a smaller list. To answer your question about do I do everything? No, we split it up. I mean, I got an elite staff. I love my staff. They're known throughout the community, and we all share and help each other out. We're all in the office today. We've been doing group stuff, individual stuff, hanging around each other. It's been a really fun. We went to Chipotle together, for God's sakes. I mean, it's all good. It's all just mellow around here, and but it varies, I guess. I guess what I'm saying is it varies each year. It varies kind of what type of kid that you're dealing with. What homework you did on that kid. Some kids are going on alone. Some kids want to do a phone call, a FaceTime, a Zoom. Some kids want their parents around. Some kids don't want their parents around. Some kids want to spend a great deal of time on the phone. Some people want to get right off the phone. So there's a lot of variations and variabilities to all this.
And I know last year, if I followed, follow recruiting via the Instagram of the athletes, right? But you guys were one of the ones. You had a huge actual official visit weekend.
Yeah, we did.
And I know a couple. I mean, you had an amazing class. But that big weekend, that's got to be amazing when you get kids, if you can get them there, a Coliseum weekend, a football weekend, LA, especially when you're recruiting nationwide, to get them on campus, that has to be an advantage for you guys. Yes.
I don't know anymore. I think so. Yes, I think so, but I don't know, because at the end of the day, they're taking all these visits to. There's so many great places out there, and it's all about just the fit, and you just don't know what you don't know. Like, there were kids that we recruited that I thought there's no way we're getting this kid, and we ended up getting that kid. And there's other kids that I thought we were going to get, and we didn't get that kid. You just don't really know until you go through that process. What I like about it, though, is they get to see the true you and the true culture and the facilities and the people. And for me, it's the people. I mean, I recruit people, and so I really want them to get to know us. Is it a fit? Does it look good? Like, does it make sense? I mean, besides you being a good volleyball player, what kind of person are you? So getting them around us and in our environment really helps us kind of decide some of that stuff as well. I didn't really answer your question, did I?
No, I mean, no, I get it. I remember, again, and people are changing my mindset. I have, I'm opinionated. I know what I think. I'm a sports fan. I'm a college fan. I'm passionate about college sports, right? And rivalries and traditions and things like that. And I want to see, with the growth of volleyball, I think things like rivalries can become and make volleyball even better. You've seen those being at SC, some of the greatest rivalries with football in sports.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And making those even more prestigious in volleyball. Right. And I just remember the official visits with as a part of it. Right. That was just part of the recruiting experience. And I'm learning. I'm really outspoken about it, but it disappoints me that more kids don't get to take their visits, even if they know where they're going, that they've already decided before, August 1 comes, or for sure before September comes and football season and whatnot. But it's the way it is. And I would think for you guys, that would be a huge selling point, because the Coliseum and that atmosphere. But maybe 16-year-olds today don't even remember that. Maybe it means nothing to them, right? But I just think as campus and SC in thereal would be a selling point from an athlete from another part of the country.
Well, yes, there's only a handful of schools that I are just absolutely breathtaking and gorgeous, and I know I'm working here, but this is a place that's spectacular. It's a really awesome academic adventure. You're in LA. If you're bored, it's your fault. Here you have access to anything you can possibly imagine. The Coliseum is a historic landmark. Football teams have been historically good here. Sports are good here. There's just a lot of opportunity and a platform here. So yeah, I do think it's a big deal. I also agree with you, going back earlier. It is a shame that we're going this way and kids are committing right away. I think, yes, they're making maybe some informed decisions and maybe it works out, but it's a big decision. It's not a 4-year decision you're making. You're making like a 60-year decision. This is like, you're going to meet all your friends here. You're going to meet your significant other here. You're going to maybe get your career here. You're going to learn a lot about, this is a big transition for you, and to not take your time and do that is a shame. Yeah. But again, I'm in the middle of this too, and you've got to keep up with what's going on. Otherwise you're just going to fall behind.
Well, let me ask you this, and if this is inappropriate, you don't have to answer it. But I was saying before, I don't think it's just kids, and I don't think it's me encouraging kids to commit early, or media. And I know I don't think their clubs are telling them to commit early. I actually don't believe that at all.
No, I don't think so.
What I think is, it's kind of like, I was comparing it to the NFL draft, right? Where all of a sudden in round 2 or round 3, they talk about having a run on running backs, right? And all of a sudden, every team that needs a running back, that first one goes off the board, and then like 5 will, and everybody kind of starts panicking, like, I better grab my running back. And I was comparing that to colleges maybe rushing and with a timeline, meaning, the school that supposedly got 2 today, right? Does that make you guys ever feel like, hey, we have a very select group to make us better? We have a very select group we're looking at. Do you ever feel panic that maybe by the time, well, if you're there at 5, right? But by noon today, a couple of those are gone. Like, we better act fast. Do coaches feel that pressure? Like, we better speed up because a couple good ones are always gone, and that's pushing the narrative, or no?
Well, I mean, social media has a big part of this, right? We live in a new age where everything's accessible. I mean, everyone can see everything right away. Everything is like back in the day that you're talking about. Someone committed, I mean, it was word of mouth. It took, phone calls, or, we're talking about maybe even landlines and stuff like that. It was a different world than it is now, where a kid commits, posts something on Instagram, and within seconds, the entire world knows about it, and it's on to the next thing. And so there might be some panic between both the recruit side of it, and the coaches side. I do not. We are never really in a rush here. That's not how we operate. And the reason why I say that is, for us, if you don't want to be a part of this, then it's a waste of time. The last thing I want is to bring kids in and have them transfer out. I want to go through this process with these kids from start to finish. I'd rather have a 4, or this is like a 6-year relationship, right? Or even a 7-year, because you're watching these kids when they're younger, but you're not, talking to them or corresponding with them. You now are starting to talk to them, and 2 more years, they're finally going to get into your door, and then you have 4 or 5 years there with those kids. You cultivate a really strong relationship with these people. I Favor and Jaden and Teeler, they all came in a couple days ago, and I'm like, I feel like I've been recruiting you guys for like 19 years, and we're finally getting going. It feels like forever. So for me, it's more of making sure that we cultivate those relationships, and we're getting the right people here. So if a kid is, gets off the phone with me and then commits somewhere else on day 1, there's always going to be another kid. No matter what, there's always going to be someone else. There's going to be a transfer portal opportunity. There's going to be something. And I believe in the brand that we have, and I believe in what we're cultivating and doing here. So that's why I'm not like panicking. But I don't know about the rest of it. And if I can see kids, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on kids these days, and they just want to get this over with. It seems like they're just want to be done with this decision. It was so much build up to this day, this date, and then it hits you, and it's like, God, I just don't want to deal with this. Maybe there could be some of that, right?
Yeah. And I would talk about it, and I guess we built up to it. It was built up to the fact that, we really need to rethink that, how we build it up. When we built it up, it was a build up to, you guys get to talk to them now, right? The build up to it starts, not the build up to, hey, commit tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, the build up to, hey, now all these kids that you've been watching, you can talk to them, right? Like, we don't really need to think that, because I want it to be a better process. But when you guys, with how long till it dies out, the craziness of it, does it start to kind of thin itself out with like your office hours, right? Where, today you're trying to contact everybody. Does it start to kind of thin itself out, or is it pretty long days, just recruiting wise? I know coaching is long days all the time, but how long is it?
Long. No, it calms down. It's calming down now. I mean, this first probably 4 or 5 days are going to be there's a lot to it. And it's like, it's intros, right? You're introducing yourselves and getting to know one another. And then you're probably following up, sooner than later with, another one, because you got to get a little momentum going, is my guess. But then after that, it kind of calms itself down. And you kind of figure out what the flow is with those kids. Some kids want to be contacted multiple times a week. Some want to be contacted once every 2 or 3 weeks. And, you just kind of go along with that. And then, as there's people have been committing. So your board gets smaller and smaller. So you're either reaching out to more people or you're happy with the list that you have.
Can we act like, I remember some people aren't watching right now. I ask you a real question. I remember when I was recruiting, like we're all competitors, right? Does it ever get easier to have your sights set on somebody and not get them? Like, do you ever, that sting, even if it's just,
oh yeah, of course. I have one every year. Every year I've had a kid where they didn't choose us, and it just guts me. It just guts me, and I never get over it. And I love them. I love those kids.
Yeah.
But it's such a bummer, It's like, oh man, I just really wanted to coach that kid, and a lot of that is because you just get attached to these people when you start talking and finding out who they are as people, and you start realizing that there's a lot of similarities there, or there's just a vibe there, and then it's brutal, it's gut wrenching. But at the end of the day, it's actually not about me. It's about the kid. It's their journey. So what they choose is true to their heart. You have to be good with that, no matter how much that thing hurts. So
yeah. My dad, who's not a salesman at all, was like, you chose this. He knows how bad my anxiety is. He's like, first of all, not a smart choice with your anxiety, right? But he's like, you chose this. Here's what I'm going to tell you to do. You go pout for 1 hour, and you come back and you get to work, right? And like, stick my pillow in my face and say whatever, and then back to work. But I always remember, like, you start penciling lineups together. You'd have that kid like penciled in and envisioning things. And but it works the same way. Like, I tell prospects, listen, once you wrap your mind around hearing the word no, you're fine, because that's the worst you can hear. You can ask any school, you can call any coach and say, Coach, I want to come there. If all you're going to hear is no. And I'm like, trust me, the coaches will hear this so many more times than you do in this process. They're going to hear no multiple times, most of them, right? And it's part of the process. And it might be 3 months down the line and they might hear the word no. And it's part of it. And especially with the portal, like, you don't burn a bridge. It's just no might mean not right now,
Correct.
When you get
Correct.
close to a kid,
Yep.
What last thing, and I'll leave you on this, you got work. What excited to bring your guys' brand to the Big Ten. What do you think about that challenge? What are you thinking heading into that Big 10, Big 20, whatever we should call it now?
I love it. It's an unbelievable conference. I've had respect for it. I mean, top to bottom, there's so many good teams, and people are going to talk about the travel, but it's really not going to be that big of a deal. We are prepared for it. We've prepped in various ways so that we can make this experience great for the kids. We're going to be playing in front of a lot of big crowds, different venues for us. I love the Pac-12. The Pac-12 was such an amazing conference with everywhere you went was different, right? You're going to Washington, it's in Oregon, it's so green, and like there's the ocean, and LA, you got the city, and then the desert, and then like the mountains. Like, it was just such a different vibe everywhere you went, and the schools and the coaches. I love the coaches from all of those teams, and so I'll miss that. But going into the Big Ten, it's just the level of competition and the characters, and I love the coaches there too. So we can't wait. Like, we can't wait to do that. We're going to learn a lot this first year. Everyone's going to learn a lot, right? Like, what does the travel actually look like, and what's it going to look like for them playing in our venue and us going over there, and playing on a Wednesday, for example, versus Wednesday and then a Sunday, or then a back-to-back, and on TV all the time. So I'm excited about it, and I can't wait. Let's just get it going. Let's get it to August or September, right? September is when the Big Ten starts for us.
Well, listen, two things. If you guys do that Lincoln to Minneapolis, okay, in like late November, and a blizzard hits and you got to take a bus, you get stuck in Sioux Falls, you guys give me a call. Okay. Good for you. Right. Yeah. I probably don't have enough winter clothes for all of you. Okay. But if you get stranded halfway, that's where I'm at.
Well, you have enough for me. So as long as I get something warm, I'm good. We got this.
That's right. Well, hey, you guys picked up Allie now, so she's probably got a couple winter clothes left. By the way, that's an awesome addition. I think you gotta love that. I think culture-wise, yes,
she's amazing.
That's a culture kid.
Yeah, she's a great volleyball player, but again, it's like I keep saying to people, it's people, and you talk about a winner in every aspect of who she is. That's Allie Baton-Horst and Greg Hosnell too, that we picked up from Indiana. Just two elite individuals, and I can't wait to work with them. It's a bummer I only get 1 year with them, but I'll take what I can get.
This just came up. Does this exist anymore, like regional recruiting battles, or is everything national? Like, you guys battle it out with UCLA or Oregon? You know, I know Matt's had a really good class, I thought, last year.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
So do you feel that, like, in that area? I know, well, the Cali clubs are so deep and so strong all the time. And you talk about, like, Arizona Storm, especially, like, this class, you know, is so deep. But do you feel like that you're battling regionally, or is everything like a national battle?
Everything. It's both.
Yeah.
There's just great coaches and great teams everywhere and great opportunities, and everyone's competitive, and everyone's got there's a lot of really, really good products out there, and there's programs, and, you know, again, you don't know what you don't know until you start talking to the kid and realize, oh, this is more of that fit, or this is, well, we got a shot at this kid. And, you know, but it's about, I mean, you're going after these kids, and it's like there's 10 other schools in each battle, and each one of those schools you're going, whew, here we go, you know, and she could go anywhere, and it would be a fit, for example.
Yeah. Well, hey, Brett, Coach, I'm gonna let you go. I'm sure you got more to do. I thank you. I don't know how much we talked about your war room, but I learned a lot about your program, and I'm excited. You guys always bring in talent. I guess an area your program excels with, expecting nothing less with this class, and best of luck. We'll see you, I'm sure, in Vegas at Nationals.
Absolutely. Of course.
Well, all right. And hopefully, well, I guess, like I tell every coach, you guys can officially celebrate, but any Trojan victories before, we'll celebrate them online. Awesome. And we'll give you a fist bump in Vegas. Okay.
Absolutely. Darren, thank you so much, and keep doing what you don't listen to Volley Talk people. Don't listen to them. They'll be great.
I'm not. I already I deleted that guy's name. I'm on, but if he listens to this, he knows where my heart is. But hey, that's Brad Keller, everybody. USC added another great recruiter with Tyler Hildebrand joining the staff this year, and top 3 class in 2020. 2025 and joining the Big Ten, and we thank him. And Coach, we're going to let you go. You have a great night, my man.
All right, thank you, guys.
Right, take care. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for our live look-ins today. We're off. We're running class of 2026. Enjoy your journeys, and we'll follow you all and enjoy your celebrations. Take care, everybody.